Here are the top 5 stories on TV Platinum. On number 1, Nigeria's Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaru has commended Lieutenant Yerima, the naval officer who confronted the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, over a disputed parcel of land in Abuja, allegedly belonging to former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo. Speaking at a press briefing on preparations for the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, held at the National Defense College, Abuja, Badaru described Yerima's action as a display of loyalty, courage, and professionalism. He emphasized that the federal government stands firmly behind members of the armed forces performing their lawful duties, adding that no officer should be intimidated for protecting national and institutional interests. The minister reaffirmed the administration's commitment to the welfare and protection of service members, stressing that the armed forces remains a cornerstone of Nigerian sovereignty and unity. On number 2, in a controversial move, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Wike, has ordered a sweeping ban on the use of mobile phones by staff of the Abuja Geographic Information Systems, AGIS, and the Department of Land Administration. According to an internal memo obtained by SAga reporters, the directive applies to all officers on salary grade level 14 and below, prohibiting them from bringing mobile phones into office premises starting Wednesday, November 12, 2025. The memo, issued by the head of AGIS, Chijoke Wankweze, stated that the measure aims to improve discipline, reduce distractions, and enhance confidentiality in handling sensitive land-related documents. It reads in part, "There shall be a ban on the use of mobile phones within the office premises for all officers on SGO 14 and below. Affected staff are not permitted to enter premises with their mobile phones henceforth." The directive has sparked mixed reactions within the FCT bureaucracy, with some workers describing it as excessive and counterproductive, while others say it will help curb insider information leaks on land matters. On number 3, the Senate has approved President Bola Tinubu's request to raise 1.15 trillion naira from the domestic debt market to finance the unfunded portion of the 2025 national budget deficit. The approval followed the adoption of a report by the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt during the plenary on Wednesday. According to the committee's findings, the 2025 Appropriation Act provides for total expenditure of 59.99 trillion naira, an increase of 5.25 trillion naira over the initial proposal of 54.74 trillion naira submitted by the executive. This expansion created a total deficit of 14.10 trillion naira, of which 12.95 trillion naira had already been approved for borrowing. The new domestic loan will now bridge the gap of approximately 1.15 trillion naira. Lawmakers who spoke during debate on the motion stressed the need for fiscal prudence and better revenue generation strategies to reduce the country's growing reliance on borrowing. On number 4, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate abandoned federal government-owned buildings and landed properties across Nigeria, reportedly valued at over 20 trillion naira. This followed the adoption of a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by the Minority Leader, Honorable Kingsley Chinda, PDP Rivers, during plenary on Wednesday. Chinda cited Sections 88 and 89 of the 1999 Constitution and Housing Standing Orders to support the call for oversight, describing the situation as a monumental waste of public assets. He referenced a 2021 report by the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, which revealed that Nigeria has over 11,800 abandoned federal projects, representing about 63% of projects initiated since independence. The ad hoc committee is expected to identify the locations, current conditions, and ownership status of the properties and recommend measures for their recovery, reuse, or disposal. And at number 5, President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerian editors to uphold the highest standards of integrity and fairness in their reportage, describing responsible journalism as vital to democratic stability and national unity. Speaking at the opening of the Nigerian Guild of Editors annual conference held at the State House, Abuja, the president said the media must remain a stabilizing force in an era of digital disruption and rising misinformation. The conference themed Democratic Governance and National Cohesion, the role of editors, brought together editors, senior journalists, and policymakers to deliberate on the media's role in strengthening national cohesion. President Tinubu commended the Nigerian press for its historical role in promoting justice and democracy, recalling how journalists endured intimidation, detention, and hardship in defense of the public good. He, however, cautioned that the rise of unverified online content poses a threat to truth and credibility, urging editors to ensure that facts, not speculations, shape national discourse. And those are the top 5 stories on TV Platinum. I am Michelle Chobaza. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates. Thank you for watching and bye for now.